Умом Россию не понять, аршином общим не измерить. У ней особенная стать. В Россию можно только верить.
So, what that means is that you can't understand Russia with your mind. You can't measure it with any yardstick. It has its own special status, it's its own special being, and you just have to believe in Russia.
Russia is my home, and you could ask me, and you also could ask Deutsche Welle, whether I have the necessary distance to this country as a journalist. And the answer is absolutely yes. But I also love this country. I love the people here, and I guess you could say that I believe in Russia. But at the same time, it's very important to me, of course, Russia and the Kremlin are not the same thing. And Russians and President Vladimir Putin are not the same either. I remember my first day at our Moscow bureau in June 2015, 4 years ago. It was probably the rainiest day of the year, and I got completely wet. So I came into the office in my flip-flops and my dripping shorts, almost like a little dog, looking for shelter from the terrible rain. Probably it was not the best impression you can make on new colleagues as a new boss. But everybody at the office was so nice to me, they took me in right away. The atmosphere in the room was so warm that I forgot everything and felt almost instantly at home. And I haven't stopped feeling that way since then.
I remember when I first started learning Russian at university, in our very first lecture, I had a professor who said, Russian is a really difficult language. The grammar is horrible. You will suffer. You will suffer for a long time. And through that suffering, through the horrors of this language, you will, though, eventually get a reward. And that is that you will develop a tiny, tiny, tiny Russian soul. And here at the studio in Moscow, I get to continue working on my Russian soul. First of all, because I'm working on my Russian language, but also because, of course, I'm exploring this country, I'm traveling around it, and I'm meeting people from all over, from all types of different groups in society, and really getting to know what's going on here and understanding the country.
Russia is full of exciting stories, and I'm a storyteller, so this is my place to be. First of all, I love the country. I love the people, I love their hospitality. I always enjoyed reading Russian literature, especially Dostoevsky and Tolstoy when I was a little bit younger. I read it, of course, in German language, and after reading all that, I decided that I would like to live in that country, and I would love to read this kind of literature in Russian language. So that's the reason why I started to study Russian language and literature, and after being here, I decided it would be great to just spend a couple of years in this country.
My name is Sergey, and I have to record this video because otherwise Yuri will send me to shoot another report about Alexei Navalny. I have been a TV reporter for over 10 years. A year ago, I was working for the economic channel RBC. One day, my mom turned on the TV. It wasn't RBC, it was one of the state TV channels. And they were saying that the journalists who work for RBC are foreign agents. That, of course, is not true. But I decided not to disappoint my mother and start working for foreign channels for Deutsche Welle.
Well, when I first started to write articles for Deutsche Welle in Russia, that was a bit tricky because every time people ask where my cameraman is, which means that our television studio set high standards as well. Besides this, working in Deutsche Welle is a huge responsibility because Russian journalism is drawing in censorship, so you have to deal with stories that could be published only by independent, mostly foreign media. On the one hand, people trust Deutsche Welle because it is not Russian. But on the other hand, they don't trust because it is from abroad. This is quite challenging because I did not have such experience before.
А здесь те, кто остались после задержаний на акции протеста против пенсионной реформы.
Nach ihren Militäroperationen in Syrien, nach ihrer Unterstützung syrischer Regierungstruppen, haben die Russen selbst in ihr Kraft.
Head of President Putin's Human Rights Council, Fedotov criticized the verdict.
Show around 90% of people believe that homosexuality is unacceptable.
It's sometimes almost so fun to work here that I forget that I have to work. Because Yuri starts making lunch, he's making salad for everyone, everyone comes into the kitchen, then Mio's brought in some cake or some croissants that we all have for breakfast. But that makes for a really great work atmosphere when we actually do get down to it. Things really work like clockwork, and everyone is so supportive. If you're stressed, they come and they help you.
I really enjoy to work together with Yuri and Emily and all the others. It's a great team, and we help each other, so it's really fun to work together.
And I'm very glad that I will have my own desk now in a real office. I used to work in the kitchen. And the other Deutsche Welle journalists kept trying to make me eat sweets, especially Mio. I don't eat sweets.
Well, I worked a lot in different bureaus in Russia, but I never met such high German standards that exist here in this Russian bureau of Deutsche Welle, because I could not leave unwashed cup in the sink, for example, or I could not leave just my coat or my bag on the table or somewhere. So everything should be neat and clean every time when Yuri is in the house. When he's not in the house, everything is quite messy, I guess.
She's a good colleague. Even if it may not sound very original, and even if my colleagues are probably saying the same thing, I'll say it again. This office, this studio, this bureau is much more than just work for me. It is my second home, and the colleagues here are my second family, and sometimes even my first family. When I came to Moscow, 3 people worked here at this studio, 3 people. Now we are 10 people, sometimes even 15 people are here at the same time. Researching, producing, talking on the phone, cooking, and often just laughing.
Unfortunately, I have to leave the country in a couple of weeks, but I hope that I'm allowed to come back from time to time and help out in Moscow.
I have to say that I look forward to coming to work here every day, and one of the main reasons for that is the team that I work with here. Everyone is so supportive.
Now, finally, we also have the new second office to give us all the space to work even more productively. But I think, and I hope, that even with a bit more space, we will still stay just as close as we are now.